actually a little chilly out here today. What is it? 62 degrees. It's a little cold. So in my last video, I talked about how I was starting a new job and how I'm not a truck driver anymore. I'm a truck driver again. Yeah, that job sucked. That was not a great job. Union, you know, when you're going into management under a union company, it just kind of makes everything sort of a pain. And I worked there for all of 2 weeks and left and went back to truck driving, but I didn't go back to the company I was at before. So I am no longer over the road. I am actually home every day. And today is my weekend, so unfortunately I don't get like Saturday, Sunday off anymore like I was. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, which is fine. It's fine. I got like a 3 o'clock in the morning start time, which kind of sucks, but you know what? It's way better than like a 4 p.m. start time. And there's a lot of people at this place that are doing that, so it's better than that. I'll take 3 a.m. That's not too bad. But yeah, basically I got into this company. It was union. It was a freight company. I was going into management again. You know, it was a job I did for 9 years, just at, you know, a different company that was not union. And I went to this place, and what they essentially told me in the interview is they just went, yeah, you're pretty much going to be doing the same thing you did before for years. The only difference is, like, you just can't move freight. I was like, oh, okay. This is easy enough. All I have to do is just not get on a forklift and move the freight. Cool. I actually get into the job, and they're like, oh yeah, you can't even open the doors up on trailers. You know, because we had like roll-up doors. Like, you can't even open the doors on trailers. You can't clean up the floors. You know, like if there's like a, you know, like a piece of cardboard or a piece of wood on the floor, like they're like, yeah, we don't really want you cleaning that up. That's taking work away from union employees. What else was there? I couldn't pick straps up off the floor because I was taking work away from union employees. I got into like a little bit of trouble. Not trouble so much, more so just told not to do that. When I picked up a piece of cardboard off the floor, I'm like, are you serious? Yeah, you couldn't really do anything, which made the day go by so much longer. Like, they were 12-hour days, and it almost seemed like they knew that it kind of sucked. So they were trying to sort of make it up to you. So they had like great like scheduling for their managers, supervisors, all that stuff. It was a 4-day on, 4-day off rotating schedule, which is cool. And they had really good benefits, lots of vacation days and stuff. Again, cool. But it's almost like they knew the job was terrible. They're like, we got to make it up to them somehow. But man, that drug out a 12-hour day like crazy. And then also I was offered like a really high-paying home daily driving job, and I was like, you know what? If this ain't a sign, I don't know what is. I'm out. So I worked there for 2 weeks, left, and I started my new driving job. I'm glad to be out of the job that I didn't like, but at the same time I'm like, maybe I should have given it more time. You know, I didn't really give it too much of a chance. I just kind of saw how the union was and was like, I don't like that at all. I was like, I probably could have got used to it, but I don't know. I guess I didn't really want to get used to it. They even had like a training class type thing you went to, which at my last company I worked for, you know, they had a training class and all that, but it was, you know, teaching you computer systems and what you may not know. It was all crap you're never going to use again. But apparently the one that they have you go to, which is kind of crazy to me, it's not like advertised as this, but everyone basically said, yeah, they teach you how to talk to union employees so you don't make them mad, and so you don't, you know, give them a reason to file a grievance against you. And I'm like, are you serious? We gotta learn how to talk employees in a way to not make them mad. And it's like, I get it. Like, you don't want to make employees mad. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. They kind of made it sound like you had to go to this class to learn how to persuade them to do things in a nice way. I'm like, what do you mean persuade them to do things? Persuade them to do their job? And then I found out, like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, you could, like, go up to someone and ask them to do something, and they could just tell you no. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I was like, oh, wow, this is awful. So I hopped up on out of there. Like I was just mind blown when one of the other guys, like, walked up to a dock worker and asked him to do something, and the dude was just like, no, and drove away. I was like, holy crap, like, he can just do that? Like, you're his boss. I was technically their boss, but also at the same time, like, I was in training, so, you know, I'm not trying to step on people's toes right off the bat, right out the gate. Not really a great way to come into a leadership role as the new guy. But I was mind blown by that. Rib bum. But yeah, I was like totally mind blown by just, they could just say no. Now, you could write them up for that, but apparently, like, if you write them up, nothing happened, so it doesn't really matter. Also, when you're like truck driving, man, when you work a 12-hour day, it does not at all feel like a 12-hour day. Like, having the back-to-back comparison like that, where I went from like a 12-hour day on a dock to a 12-hour day driving a truck, I was like, man, on a dock, 12 hours feels like 14 hours. In a truck, 12 hours feels like 6 hours. And like, I complained a lot about truck driving. Really, the only problem I had with it, I didn't mind the driving part. The only problem I had was I was sleeping in a truck Monday through Friday. That was awful. I hated that. And then now that I'm like, oh, I'm home every day, and I'm actually making more money than what I did before, and that's why I never went to, like, you know, home daily thing, is because all these places and the company I was working for, their home daily accounts, they just didn't pay nearly as much. And then I found this place, and I'm like, oh wow, this is actually paying more than what I was making, and I'm home every day. And it all just kind of worked out. I mean, I think it worked out really well, because had I not gone back into management, you know, I never would have came across this job. It was kind of like I had to do one thing that sort of sucked for 2 weeks to get into something that was actually, like, really good. So I'm like, you know what, that was worth it. Oh, we're going to the gym. This guy's blocking my entrance onto the sidewalk. I think I can still squeeze up in there. It's cold. Today was arm day, and oddly it wasn't busy, but there was enough people in there where I had to wait on a couple of the machines that I wanted, which I hate doing that. It's so annoying. I think everyone hates doing that. I don't think that's a hot take. Bridge. I'm sure people hate me when I drive underneath that bridge, because every single time I drive under it, I rev. Sometimes I rev more than others. Like, that was a little baby rev. But I have, like, redlined it before underneath there when there was a ton of cars. And this bike is ear-piercingly loud, so it's not too bad when you got earplugs in, though. Sometimes I ride with earplugs. If I'm getting on the interstate, I put my earplugs in, and it's not too bad. And then I'll ride it, you know, like I am right now with no earplugs, so I'm not getting on the interstate, so there's not like a ton of wind noise or anything. And then I'll remember that, oh yeah, this exhaust is just insanely loud. What was I talking about before? I think work, and how it's nice actually being home every day for once. It's nice to sleep in my own bed and not in a little tiny bit in the back of a semi truck. I don't miss that. Also, turns out day cabs, which if you don't know what those are, the trucks that don't have the sleepers on the back of them, where it's just like the 2 front seats and that's it, and they got like a back window and all that stuff. I've never driven a day cab before until now. Man, they turn so much better. I can back a trailer in like you wouldn't believe. Like I got so much better turn radius and so much more control. Like I'm able to pretty much every time in, you know, tighter locations. There's not a lot of tighter locations we go to, but it's like I'm able to pretty much back it in one shot, not have to pull forward and reset. So much easier. But then again, most of our locations are like these just huge open lots, so I mean they're pretty easy to back in, real easy to back in, and I just go about my day, drive my truck. And actually they just did a bid thingy, and I already got myself on a new bid, so now I'm basically going to be relaying with another driver. So I'm going to take a trailer, meet up with a driver from I think West Virginia, and or maybe North Carolina, I don't remember. I'm meeting up with a driver and we're just going to swap trailers. So like he has a trailer coming back to Dayton, I'm going to have a trailer that's going to West Virginia, and then we're going to swap trailers, and then I'm going to take the Dayton trailer back to Dayton, and then he's going to take the West Virginia trailer to wherever the place is at in West Virginia, and then we just go home. And easy as that. And that's it. Just we meet at like a truck stop, swap, and go. It's like crazy easy. Yeah, speaking of bids, the place that I went to that I only worked at for 2 weeks, of course, with it being union, good Lord, everything was a bid. You bid constantly. So you had to keep track of that, because in management, you're not union, but you have to manage the union workers. So everything was like so compartmentalized. It was too much. And there's too much to keep track of. And it's like, this is so unnecessary. Like, every day when the new shift would come in, all of the hourly employees that were certified to move trailers around and stuff like that out on the yard, you know, in yard trucks, all of those guys that wanted to go out in the yard would write their name on like a little sheet of paper, and like whoever wanted what went by seniority every single day. I mean, I guess it was the same people, but you know, if they wanted to switch it up or whatever, it was just annoying. I mean, it probably wasn't like that hard to keep track of, you know, but it's like, it's just one more freaking stupid freaking thing. They even had overtime bids. Oh, you want to work overtime? Oh, okay, well, if the most senior guy wants overtime, he gets the first pick, and then you just go down the list. I'm like, are you serious? There's just too much. There's too much to keep track of. You know, at the company that I was in management before with, we just asked people as they, you know, came up for their next work assignment, like, hey, you want overtime? Sure. Even if it was a guy that just started yesterday, if he was the first one at the dock stand, and if the most senior guy came up and we didn't have any work, we just told him to go home. There's no bidding. I mean, what we would do is we try to, you know, under the table make it up to him in a way, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna send you home because we don't have any more work, I can't give you anything. And because of that, you know, if you want overtime tomorrow, we'll try to get you overtime. You know, we did stuff like that. But there was no, like, everybody writes their name down on a piece of paper and then you go through the list every single day. It's like, I don't want to do that. It's annoying. And also, I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, there's all this crap to keep track of. Also, I don't know who anybody is. And they're like, oh yeah, we got to do it by bid. I'm like, I don't know these people. I don't know who's been here the longest. So I'm going to have to learn all of that. I'm like, y'all ain't paying me enough. I took a like a $30,000 freaking a year pay cut to be here, and I'm like, this is atrocious. I mean, they had a guy, one dude, his entire job. I'm complaining way too much. I hope they don't see this video, because all the managers were so nice. You know, it's not their fault. You know, they were all so nice. Everybody was nice. But like, there was like one dude there whose entire job was to put fuel inside of trucks. That was his whole job. The drivers didn't even hook their own trailers. They had another like 1 or 2 guys whose whole job was to unhook and hook trucks to trailers. It's like, that's too much. It's too much. Make the drivers do it. Why are you paying a whole other guy to do this? And they're paying them really good money. I'm like, is this sustainable? I mean, maybe it is. I'm not an executive. I don't get to see those numbers, but it's like there's so much money going around. It's like, how long is this sustainable for? Maybe forever. Maybe I have no idea. But it just doesn't seem sustainable. I don't know. That's all I got. I should stop complaining. I don't work there anymore, so who freaking cares? Okay, love you. Bye-bye.